Hey guys, Mark here. I'm with my guru, my friend Royce Ramos. He's up at Nomad Combat and Fitness in the Palisades Mall up in West Mac, New York. How you doing there, buddy?
Was good. Was good, Mark. Was good, everybody.
So Royce, I bet you 6 months ago, showed me a sketch of a prototype of a knife he was designing, and lo and behold, here we are, and he has his prototype, and I saw it the other day live, and it's a fantastic, incredibly versatile tool, weapon, and yep, there you go. So why don't you tell us about the design, what went into the design of this for us?
So this is known as I named this the Maghat because this is what Tuan Mel named my group. He gives everybody like a tribal name, and
So just explain to the people that aren't familiar with Pikiti Tertia and what a Tuan is and how it
so
all falls.
Pikiti Church is a Filipino martial art,
Right.
and been around for quite a while. A lot of Filipino martial arts actually have been, um, and I've been studying it for the past 24 years. When I met Tuan Mel, Tuan basically means like master.
Hmm.
What we call someone a master in their art, Tuan is master in PTK,
Right.
or from basically that region of the Philippines, from Negros Occidental. And he gave us the tribe name of Maghat, which is Hiligaynon for fierce. Hiligaynon is one
Oh,
of
I
the
like
dialects
it.
of the Philippines. And that was back in 2016, late, actually early 2017 when he gave us that name. And I've been designing and drawing knives, blades, and stuff for years, ever since I was a young kid in school, and always said I wanted to have my own blade made. Modern day, where you can actually get that kind of thing to happen, yay the internet.
Yeah.
I got into contact with Wes Adkins from Wes Adkins Wooden Knives. You can find his page at atkinswoodenknife.com. He's really good.
Yeah, I looked at his stuff. It's really incredible. Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Um, Now, I'm the first person to send him an actual sketch of something, and the design I sent, he got it like almost 100% exact. There's
On
certain things
point. Yeah.
you can do, certain things you can do, so on and so forth. He did a phenomenal job, and I'm not complaining because this thing came out amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, again, I've been training in Kali for 24 years, but I've been doing martial arts since I was 5. I've always loved the blade. I used to have a boot knife, an army boot knife when I was younger. Um, that got taken away a long time ago when I was little, know, and that was unfortunate. That was a gift from my aunt too. Back in the day when double edged knives were not illegal yet.
Right.
You
Right. Right.
um, and then my first knife was actually that I bought in terms of a quality fixed blade knife was this. Um, this is a mock double edged knife from Nieto, right?
That's from Spain, correct? Is that?
Yes, this is
Yeah.
a this is a Spanish dagger,
Uh-huh.
right? Mock double edged, so it's only sharp on one end, but reality is if I want to, I could have the other side
You
sharp.
could. Yeah.
Um, rosewood handle, brass
So
plate.
just to be clear, so everybody knows, double-edged knives are illegal now to carry in New Jersey, New
It,
York.
it's been like that for quite a while.
I mean, basically, the reality is, from any knife is illegal to carry, correct?
No.
No.
To possess, depending on where you're at, you better have a good reason for it.
Right. That's what I read. The law states you have to have a really legitimate reason why you're carrying a knife. Yeah.
Right, and don't quote me on it. It depends on the state. You should talk to
Every
your
state's different, sure. Yeah.
and look it up online. There's certain regards to legal length. Um, I've had cops stop me in the past where this is on my hip when I'm going into the woods. And they say, well, "You going hunting?" Like, no, I'm not going hunting, but I'm going into the woods.
Right. Yeah.
And they're like, okay, can I see the knife? I'm like, sure, take it. And they're like, oh, no. I usually don't have any problems from law enforcement because, I respect when they ask something. It's not compliance. It's like they ask you a question, you give it with a proper answer, not be a jerk. Um, you know, and I've had my fair share of unpleasantries with them too. That doesn't mean I screw them, right? And they're like, all right, they see I wasn't walking around the mall brandishing my knife like an idiot,
Yeah.
and have someone call the police on me. You know, it was what it is.
So getting back to that mock double edge, that was your first fixed blade?
Well, it was my first quality fixed blade.
Right.
This was I could go into the stores, I could buy my stuff. I don't have to worry about other people. I think this knife at that time was around $75 at the time. That was
Okay.
considered expensive.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and this is also the same knife that they use in X-Men 2 with Nightcrawler.
Oh, really?
When Nightcrawler was trying to attack the president in the beginning of the movie, and this is the knife that lands on the desk.
Ah. Okay.
I had it first though. Copy me. So I went from that blade, and I've always, studied things like, uh, features on knives, blades, swords, the concept of the tang, hilt, pommel, crossguard, whatever. And I've owned
Jimping, whatever. Yeah.
knives. I actually have a lot of blades, but you know, in one of my favorite knives that I purchased was this knife here. This is Tuan Jared Wahangi from
Yeah.
Pikiti Churchill Tactical Association. This is designed the Pandemonium. It was there it is, a collaboration with Browning and Black Label.
It's a beautiful knife. Yeah.
It's a good grip. Meant for a little bit bigger hand, but maybe for gloves, it's good. This single edge. It's legal length. You're here in New York, in New York State, not New York City. Walking around New York City with knives will generally get it confiscated.
Yeah.
Again, know your laws. That's one of my favorite knives that I purchased in recent years. And then
Right.
recently, I picked up these two items.
Oh, yeah.
This is a Slasky knife. Now, this guy apparently was on Fortune Fire. Very nice, simple, elegant design, very straightforward, single edge boot knife. What I like on this particularly is the sheath. Magnet.
Ah, magnetic.
So,
this guy was on Fortune Fire, which is it's a game. It's what's the word I'm looking for? I think it's on the History Channel. Is it on?
It's on the History Channel, hosted by Doug Marcaida. Also,
Yeah.
It also had beginnings in Pikiti Churchill, amongst other arts.
It's a competition, like the cooking competitions, but this one just happens to be
people
making knives and swords. Yeah.
Really cool stuff.
Right. Yeah, I've seen it. It's a really cool show.
Check it out. It's great. And I'm not a fan of the sheath itself. I like the magnet.
What was the price point on that blade?
They were selling it for like $175.
Okay.
So which means it was more.
Right.
I didn't have the papers for it. And this one is from
Bastelli? Is that the
attention to detail.
Oh yeah, no. Who's design on that one? That's a beautiful one. Who?
Right. Caught my eye. They sold this at $225, but 5/16 inch thickness.
Thick. You know who's the designer on that one, Guru?
The people called Attention to Detail. This is one of their first prototypes before they made it more mass produced. They didn't have a proper sheath. The guy who had this was also a leather worker, so he gave me this.
Mm-hmm.
Not a practical, tactical
one,
so I would have to get a better sheath later on.
Kydex sheath, yeah.
Sucker doesn't come out, so pretty good. But And then the Bastinelli I bought at with my boy Yuri at he was at Delta Arsenal. The Bastinelli Sin.
And that's an expensive knife, I would imagine, because he's a really well-known designer.
Yeah, this is around 180, 190, I think, price point.
And now he's partnered or he's done some knives for Doug Marcato, right?
Yes, he has the
Yeah.
Pika and a few other.
Karambit, I think he did for him.
Yeah, there's the Piccolier, the Pika, and a few other blades out there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember all the names, unfortunately. But he had a collaboration, so really nice stuff. Very elegant.
Yeah.
Very straightforward.
Yeah,
very elegant.
it's a nice knife.
This is N690 steel. It's a good quality steel with good.
Could you just, when you say N60 steel, can you explain to me and anyone listening exactly the different gradations of the steel?
Oh, that's a hard explanation.
Well, no, I mean just in general terms.
Yeah. So N690 steel is on the scale of hardness and edge retention is a little bit higher than CRV, CRM4V2, something like that. I can't remember the number.
So in a lot of ways, that's what separates, price points on different knives, correct?
Correct, because
part of it anyway.
More durable steel, with whether it had more nitrogen, vanadium, molybdenum, so on. It's going to increase the strength or durability of the blades or ability in the edge. This is above. This is a higher quality steel above tool steel.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are the vanadium steels, which are like super expensive, like just something like this would cost like $800.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing that.
No.
But these were all great knives.
Until
this.
Yes.
So now I trained the karambit. I don't like the karambit. Like I'm not in love with it. I don't hate
me neither.
It. It's not me, right? I could use it. It's awesome. It's an awesome tool and blade and knife, and you can use it for anything. Now, but I know that right now a big thing was the retention ring, and I have a trainer also from Tuan Jared Longi, which I think he's going to work on a live knife version of it. So the trainer that was, it's actually basically a Kubotan that was sold as a trainer, and and I was like, this is cool because this is sort of what I wanted to do, but it wasn't quite there. So
just explain. I mean, I know what a Kubotan is. I know what a trainer is, but just explain what a trainer knife is and what a Kubotan is.
Well, Kubotan is basically a stick.
It's an impact weapon.
Small impact weapon. You could use it for pretty much anything. Stick it's like back in the days you used to roll or walk around with a roll of quarters in your hands. It's
right.
Impact. I can use my keys as a Kubotan. There's a lot of stuff sold now. You can put on your keychain, Kubotan or Sweet Kubotan or a palm stick. Dulo. Pick something.
Yeah.
The only way is call a small little stick a stick.
And a trainer, just so everyone knows, is that blade, that knife, but it doesn't have an edge on it, so you can train with it and not have any fear of cutting yourself or your training partner.
Right. Yeah. Foam trainers, wood trainers, polymer trainers, plastic trainers, rubber trainers, steel trainers, aluminum trainers.
And we talked about this, and you were because you're still kind of thinking through how you want to handle your trainer. Because what I do like about that knife I got from Jared last week is that the trainer essentially is the same knife. It just doesn't have an edge on it. So when you're training with it, it has the same feel, the same weight. It's not like for when you go from a generic trainer that's light, made out of plastic or aluminum, and then you go to your regular knife. It just has a good feel to it.
Yeah, and that's why when I ordered this knife and I had it made, I requested a steel trainer because I like the weight. However, if we do go production, I'm probably moving to the aluminum trainer because it's
cost effective.
I'm not trying to make something that's too hard for people not to purchase.
Right.
I do find value in the training blade.
So So let's talk about the knife. I'm pretty excited. I want to hear what your thoughts were and what led you to this final design
So,
and the utility of all the different things you can do with it.
so in regards to the design, right? Um, again, Wes Haskin did a great job with this.
Right.
This is what the knife final look looks like, right? Armor black. Um, it's nice. He treated everything. So what I like about this is that I can grip it without having to grip the ring, or I could use the ring, and of
Right.
course I can utilize it in a forward grip or reverse grip. God, geez, getting this camera thing, right?
Yeah.
So I could hold this like so. Now, I've seen a number do some kind of punch
Mm-hmm.
ring adaptation for other things, like for glass breaking.
Mm-hmm.
Glass breaking.
Quote unquote. Yeah.
So, but the way I designed it was so it's easier to utilize, and I could also have, if I have to, I could, for self defense reasons.
Yeah. So it's what it is a different level of force. So you could jab
Right.
somebody with that, and it's not a lethal, and it's a lot obviously less lethal than using the blade itself.
It's gonna sting and hurt.
Yeah.
At least I'm not using this side, right?
Right.
If I have to.
It's a fair warning before you use the blade. Yeah.
And there's other techniques I could utilize and incorporate with it, of course, that will be more to my favor, of course, and not less to theirs. you know,
Yeah.
It's a good grip, good weight. I've had a few knives where this grip here is awkward, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is very comfortable, and um, again, kind of reminiscent of the Filipino blade designs, where they're kind of a pistol-esque grip.
Right.
That's where a lot of knives are like that, and that's what's really good. See how I can hold this and grip this, and still maintain my flow.
Right.
Right.
And go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm probably jumping ahead too quickly, but the sheath and the angle of the deployment, I want to talk to you in like some good detail on that because, we all spend a lot of time learning different platforms with the knife and with the balisong or whatever. But what's really not thought out, even with handguns, everybody goes to the range and shoots paper, and they don't practice deployment. So your tool is only as good as how quickly you can utilize that thing. And
Absolutely.
and I love this sheath, and I love the angle you put it on, and you can explain why.
So you notice that a lot of sheaths tend to be straight. So obviously,
Mm-hmm.
very straight, very straight. So
Straight
what
up and
happens
down. Yeah.
when you camber this like so? See the blade, I have to pull directly out, and this is what happens with my wrist. So when I'm doing that, so when I pull, it's kind of unnatural for the wrist to pull out due to I have to pull straight across first before I can orient it. Right. Vertical, of course, is even similar because if I have to pull this up, I have to do this, right? So my arm comes up like this. Unless
And then you have the issue of the shirt. You got to contend with your shirt coming over the top of it.
Correct. And one of the better knives I've had, and again, is like the Best Knife Sin. It's tapered and such, but the ringlets on the grommets allow you to adjust the angle, so to say, based on the clip, whatever clip you get. Plus, of course, if you ever get these things, you don't like the clip, you can always replace the clip. You can buy them on. So, like what I did with this knife, instead of it being straight, it's actually at an angle.
Yeah.
So this allows me, so when I pull it up, I don't have that same issue with the wrist. It pulls up at a slight angle for a quicker, more comfortable deployment, and which is actually better because instead of doing a direct out and up motion, it's a faster deployment.
You could put this on a small of your back also, which I really like.
So what's behind you, what I could do, either quick grip, and it's easy to deploy. Again, without it, I'm not yoking my shoulder up to do so.
Right.
Right. I could also pull and reverse grip, same thing, which is very smooth. Right.
And the retention on the sheath, I like it. It's just enough. Yeah.
Right. But it's very smooth because of the angle.
Mm-hmm.
So people think, someone said, "Oh, the retention is a little weak." No, it's fine.
Yeah, and I can't overemphasize to any LEO that's watching or general public, but especially LEO, to be able to have a certain level of retention, which obviously you need because you don't want the bad guy getting it out off you too easy. Conversely, you've got to be able to get it out quick. And,
Exactly. Now,
so it's kind of like a battle there, but you got to reach just a certain level of retention.
Right. And when you have the right setup, right rig setup, you could even still adjust this more so depending on the angle. But this is already set up, so even on I could do this at a slight angle like so, right? So, my pull. So if I'm pulling like a sidearm, it's a little easier because it's gonna have the same.
Right.
Similar to
What's nice about it too, you could have LEO is not going to have it on the right hip because that's usually where their gun is if they're right-handed. So you could put it on your left appendix and still have a really nice, smooth, quick deployment.
It depends, right? Or which departments you're part of. Like Jared has he has a hip holster rig, and his blade is in line with his sidearm.
Right.
So it's the same physical pneumatic to pull your weapon and go right. Right. So you could set that up like that.
I think the only reason I would prefer to put it on the left appendix is because if you got a gun grab and you're holding down and trying to shake that dude's hand off your weapon, you could still deploy with your left hand and get it out.
Well, I could also do the same thing with if they go for the gun, and I'm holding. All I do is pull the blade up and just slice the person grabbing the gun. Tomato, tomato. You know what I mean?
It's personal preference.
Personal preference, skill level, understanding the
also how your kit is set up.
Yeah, so it's gonna really depend on what you're comfortable doing. Because some guys some of my guys, they have folders, they keep them where they can get to it easily, comfortably, right when they're on the job. I have other guys who are also on the job who are like they don't want to put it because they're afraid of something being said. It's like, which is weird because like the particular task force you're part of is kind of badass. So like, why would you? So it really depends. Having placement for them that they could get to as a secondary option, even tertiary option, but obviously you don't. Even though in certain cases it's allowed due to depending on use of force or what's going on around you, that law enforcement can be justified by pulling your sidearm even when there's a lot of people around. I know a lot of people don't want to do that, so even in a taser is only going to work so well. So, and if you can't get to it in time, or if you don't happen to have a taser for whatever particular reason, the knife is easy to keep and carry and conceal for you. You can utilize it.
Yeah, I think one of the other advantages of that left hip appendix, because if your right arm, if you grab and your right arm is pinned for some reason, you could still, having your arm pinned, you could still turn your hips and still be able to deploy. Yeah. So if that arm is pinned and you can't make this side motion here, you just turn your hips and pull.
Yeah, because you can easily, however you want to do it.
Yeah.
Depending on how you're going to set up your setup.
Let's if we could go through the features of the knife itself, if we could.
So the features.
Yeah, the blade design and the retaining ring and the puño, so to speak, at the end.
So yeah, we have the retainer ring, or retention ring, glass breaker. All right. So there's grip. The jimping is set up on a particular. Usually, a lot of jimpings are pushed out.
And jimping is
gripping
gripping, kind of like how would you describe it? Like
I can grip.
like it's a grip, yes, but it's
Yeah.
on top of the blade. So when you press your thumb down, you got really good, you know,
It's a texture of sorts.
texture, right?
And
Yeah.
so this is good because it allows for pushing, but based on this particular design, it's very good. Notice that I'm not pushing forward. I'm not pushing
Right. You're pushing
forward,
through.
right? Because I can't. It's not the same setup.
Mhm.
Anything is more recessed. This allows me for a push and pull aspect. So I can actually push and pull in there in that respect. Like even if you get it to use it what knives are meant to be as a tool, I could use this for cutting. You know, I'm going out scaling fish. I could cut fish, whatever it is. I could cut meat with it, whatever. Obviously, you can cut meat with it. So it's comfortable and it's a good guard for your finger right there.
Right. That I really like because, you know, God forbid you really get into a scenario where you have to utilize it to protect yourself. You always run that risk of the blade sliding up your own hand.
Right. So one of the things that you notice, like you have it here, but notice my knuckles so like so halfway exposed. Even on the Slewski, same thing. My finger is still partially exposed to this. They're all going to always be partially exposed. My job, my intent was to minimize it in the guard. The sin was actually slightly better, but still somewhat exposed. See how it sticks out. So I was trying to minimize it without it getting too big. And so this comes out a little bit more.
It's more substantial.
And it's thicker too. You see, it's the thickness of the blade. So this is a full tang, full piece of metal here at 3/16 inch and 690 steel. It's good quality, good weight, good strength, good durability, right? Everything's very good, very comfortable.
It felt really great in my hand. It felt really comfortable. Like, you know, whether it's in the hammer grip or the ice pick grip, it felt phenomenal.
Right. And you don't need to be like, oh, I don't know how, I can't buy that because I can't use the ring. Doesn't matter.
You don't have to use the ring. Yeah.
I'm just grabbing it right here. Boom.
Yeah.
I could just.
And the reality of it is, even though we do we do flip the knife, real world scenario, you're not going to do that really.
Yeah. Like if I get the opportunity, that's great, you know, but I don't need to. Now, if you are a ring user, I will not flip because you'll probably break your own finger.
Right.
You know, high.
Yeah. You may lose retention of even when you start to flip it, you may lose retention. Then you don't have a weapon.
Well, again, you should flip only if you think it's an option. You know, trying to be fancy, you're going to end up doing something stupid, right? It's good for understanding retention and capability and understanding where the knife is in relation to you. But, you know, you'll see most of the stuff is like very straightforward. This is more,
you know,
solid. What you also do with firearms, you can shit. So if I have an asset, right, I need to get around that. That's what I can do. But I wouldn't flip it.
So why don't you just demonstrate a little bit of the sock grip, which is the hammer grip, and then a little of the Bacall grip, which is the ice pick grip, just to show different ways of utilizing it.
If I'm going to use the trainer, I'm going to be a responsible person. But so in Bacall grip, in sock grip, which is hammer grip, right? It looks like you're holding a hammer, right? Right. I could just do it just like this, nothing fancy, not just pointing, reinforcing ability or attributes that some people develop over time. I can just grab, caveman grabs. I could just strike. Flip it by jabbing it right here. I can flip this, flicking it out. What they call flicking. It's a knife jab. What's that gonna do? If I swatted you in the forehead with a piece of metal, you're gonna not like it. Any part of bone, if I swat it with a piece of metal, you're not gonna like it. I don't care who you are.
That tip will still open you up. You get hit here, you're gonna You're gonna
Right?
open
Well,
up
if I go for the edge too, even in a
over the
training,
throat. Yeah,
knowing your tools is one of the most important aspects of the martial art.
absolutely.
For a good artist or craftsman, you gotta know your tools. Like I remember one thing that blew my mind one time when I went to the Philippines was I saw this artist. This was years ago when I was a kid. This artist was doing portraitures, right? I've seen portraits done billions of times, right? But this guy was taking charcoal or pastels, right, ground up, and using a paintbrush and
Oh
using
wow, yeah.
brush using charcoal or pastel to dry portrait instead of
Very
using the
cool.
pencil or using
Yeah,
charcoal to draw. He did that and then some. And it's
right.
like I never thought of powderizing it and using it like a
Yeah,
makeup brush in a sense to
right. Yeah,
fill it in. And I think he probably got the idea from
his girlfriend.
doing makeup.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, if I could make a human face of canvas, so obviously I can make a piece of paper of canvas. So, and that was one of the things that influenced me in seeing that there's a lot more to how we utilize our tools. And I think I was only
hmm
like 18 at the time, 17, 18. So, and when I was already going to school for art, so by understanding these aspects, I learned that a brush can be more than just for wet, it can be wet or dry, in terms of painting. And then it also helped me with other aspects. When I showed you the sock, right? Now, notice I'm slashing. All you have to do is take this knife and just punch, drag that knife. I could hit like a hammer, like this. I'm striking with a hammer, right? If I hit you with the butt end, it's gonna hurt. Drag it down, the blade's gonna follow. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna do damage. You know,
yeah. And one of the things you and I have discussed, and we're actually talking about it this morning. Um, the beauty of Kali is there's so many different attributes you learn, and so many different angles of striking and slashing and everything like that. But at the end of the day, real world, you're probably only going to do just what you were showing. You're going to hit somebody with it, and then maybe slash and thrust, and it's game over for the bad guy, right?
right? Even if I'm doing like that dice grip, aka the cycle grip, right? So again, notice the grip. So even if I was to hit something solid, right, this grip is going to help prevent my hand from slipping and sliding down on the blade
Right.
like this, right? This is going to help prevent that. Some people use a retention ring to prevent that from happening, right? Or they cap the top to prevent that from happening. Depends on the knife, right? But because of this will help limit that possibility from happening. But at the same time, I can still do this and press down on the top of the blade to allow force, so the push and pull aspect forward and back, right, while driving down, so less chances of this coming
Sliding
up,
down. Yeah.
right? So I can still, I can still do
That's
all
beauty.
that.
Yeah.
I can do all the techniques I need to do, right?
So anybody interested in the knife, when do you anticipate? How can they go online, take a closer look at how beautiful this knife is, so they could really take a closer look, and
So,
then a way to contact you if they're interested in purchasing, and where you're going to go with this in terms of production?
so if anyone's interested in wanting a knife for themselves or to you more, you can visit us on Instagram or Facebook at sign Nomad KACF. Again, at sign Nomad NOMAD KACF, short for Kali and Combat Fitness. And you'll be linked to us on our Facebook and Instagram pages, and you can send us a direct message there. I have the images uploaded on both. I believe it's in it's on Instagram. On Instagram, and on our Facebook school page, and you can look into them and see the pictures. The pictures that Wes Atkins took were amazing. They really showcased the blade really nice together. And what I did was I on the Facebook page I also included some of the earlier photos, so you see the progression from
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
drawing to finish, quite literally drawing to finish. So you can see how it came about.
Well, I'm excited. I want to get my hands on one of those bad boys as soon as they come out, because it's funny, you and I've discussed so many different knives, and some of them, or just about all of them, there's something I really like, but there's also something I'm not happy about. And I'm not saying this because you're my friend and you're my guru, but I looked at this knife, I felt it in my hands, I moved around with it, I looked at it, the grip, the retention of it, and also just important, your deployment on that little bit of an angle. This is probably the last knife I'm going to have to buy. There's nothing I don't like about it. Only things I like about it.
If anyone wants it, they want a custom design for themselves, but don't know how to do it because they're not an artist or designer, please hit me up. I don't mind collaborating
Right.
on a job, because like Wes, he does a lot of stuff. He's amazing, and he has, he takes images and mostly Norse um, history and blades, and he brings them to life. And he got some phenomenal accents.
Yeah, he's got some really beautiful stuff.
Right, but it was a great honor for me to be the first person to send him a design.
Yeah.
He wanted to make, and I'm actually working without a ring for those who are like in emergency services, first responders.
Yeah.
So the ring is not always
not practical.
It takes up some space.
Right.
But I'm adapting an aspect of the Filipino martial art, Filipino blades that have that kind of hook to a J hook, which allows for an easy grab and grip. So still maintain like a sort of pistol-esque grip to it, but it's going to be straight, so that you can just pull it, retain it, grab it, and it's easy to use, easy to function, straightforward blade. And I think it's it'll be
make a difference.
I'm also making a tool version of it, like flat edge, chisel tip kind of thing that people utilize for dealing with clothing and fabrics and whatever. So it's an idea. I want a multi-purpose aspect of one versus just a knife one. I think it's going to be very useful for people in the first responder world.
First responders. Well, this has been awesome. Again, it's could you spell it? It's Maghat. It's Maghat, correct?
Yes, Maghat.
And again, how do I pronounce it correctly?
Yeah, so it's Maghat. So in
Maghat. Yeah.
Yeah, in Filipino, the emphasis is on the second syllable or every other syllable.
Yeah.
So it'll be Maghat. So it'll be
Maghat.
There.
And it means fierce.
Yes.
I love it. I'm part of a fierce tribe.
I was like, I didn't know what it was for a while. I was trying to get someone to tell me what it was. I was like, please tell me this isn't like, oh, cow that goes poop in the woods kind of thing. But no, it was fierce. So I was like, okay.
That's awesome.
I'm cool with that. So I thought that was perfect to name the knife.
Yeah, I love it.
In honor of one of my current instructors, Toan Maltratel.
Yeah.
And friend, he's been a wonderful guide in instruction and training of everything. And with golly, it's the past year and a half and change. It's been a deep dive into Kali that I think it's upped both my knowledge and my skills a good percentage that I'm happy with. Yeah.
All right, Royce, it's awesome, man. I can't wait to see it, and hopefully. What do you anticipate when they may be available after the new year or somewhere?
Yeah, so if people are interested in it, so this is a custom order. It's a limited run. So if we get enough people, I can get it at a decent price for everybody. I need to get at least 100 people. And people are interested, they can contact me. I can send them the information about plans and what's going to be what is going to be featured on the blade, as well as pricing for the trainer if they're interested in it. I'm pretty sure no one wants to pay double the price because they want a steel trainer except maybe a couple of us out there.
Couple people, yeah.
But that's gonna be expensive. So I can understand why people wouldn't want to spend that kind of money.
Mhm.
You know, I was reluctant too. But you know what? This was something I did for myself, and I wanted to get done, and I'm happy with the results. And if
Me
people
too, man. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful knife. Can't wait to see it and have one in my hand, have one in my pocket or on my hip.
Do it.
All right, Guru Royce. Thanks again. I
Coach,
will see you soon.
take care.